Has your memory been slipping recently? You know, those moments when you can't remember whether you left the stove on or if you took your medication this morning. It's a terrifying thought, right? What if I told you that you're not alone? 1 in 9 seniors over 65 experience some form of memory loss every year, and most of them don't even realize that some of their habits are making things worse. It's easy to dismiss these signs as just getting older, but what if they're actually an early warning of something more serious? But here's the kicker. What if I told you that many of these warning signs can be prevented or slowed down by making small changes? And here's the real question: could this have been prevented? Most people don't realize they're making these mistakes until it's too late, but I'm here to help you avoid that fate. Stay with me, because these 6 warning signs could change how you look at memory loss forever. As we age, some changes in our memory and cognitive function are natural. But what many don't realize is that there's a fine line between normal aging and the onset of conditions like dementia or Alzheimer's disease. While forgetting things from time to time is expected, there are specific warning signs that you should never ignore, and the sooner you spot them, the better. Most seniors unknowingly follow these habits, which leads to serious health risks and memory loss. The scary part is many of these signs are subtle and easy to dismiss. But if you catch them early, you can take steps to mitigate further damage and preserve your cognitive health for years to come. Are you unknowingly making these mistakes? You might be thinking, I'm just getting older, it's nothing to worry about. But I'm here to tell you that some of these signs are critical red flags. It's not just a part of growing old, it could be the beginning of something more. So how do you know if what you're experiencing is a warning sign? Let's take a closer look at the 6 hidden warning signs of memory loss that could change everything for you. 1. Forgetting important dates and events. You know that feeling when you forget someone's birthday or when a vital anniversary slips your mind? It happens to everyone at some point. You might dismiss it as just a simple lapse, a busy day, or a sign that you have a lot on your plate. That's perfectly normal. We all experience those moments. But what if this starts happening more and more frequently? What if you find yourself forgetting things you once looked forward to, or even losing track of your daily routine? Suddenly, those little lapses in memory don't feel so trivial anymore. They might start to feel unsettling, leaving you wondering if something more is going on. In fact, this is more common than you might think. According to a 2024 study by the Mayo Clinic, consistent difficulty remembering important dates, appointments, or events could be a sign of early-stage dementia or cognitive decline. It's not simply about being forgetful, it's about how often it happens, the impact it has on your life, and whether it starts to interfere with your relationships and activities. The real issue here is frequency and the effect it has on your day-to-day functioning. We age, our brains go through natural changes. The hippocampus, which is responsible for storing and retrieving memories, begins to shrink. This shrinkage is a normal part of aging, but when it's more pronounced, it can significantly affect your ability to remember important details such as birthdays, anniversaries, or other key events. In other words, the brain starts running out of storage space, and it's the memories you hold most dear, those that mean the most to you, that can be pushed out of reach. Take Joe, for example. Joe is a 72-year-old retired teacher who used to remember his son's birthday like clockwork every year. It wasn't just a casual reminder for him, it was a meaningful occasion he looked forward to. But over the past few years, something changed. Joe found himself forgetting his son's birthday. At first, it was no big deal, just a small slip-up, something anyone could chalk up to being busy. But then it happened again the following year, and then again. Joe realized it wasn't just occasional forgetfulness, it was becoming a pattern. As his wife reminded him year after year, Joe felt like he was constantly playing catch-up. The situation started to strain their relationship, and Joe felt anxious about his memory. That's when he decided to visit his doctor. During his appointment, Joe learned something he didn't expect. His memory loss wasn't simply due to aging. It was an early sign of dementia. Joe could have addressed it sooner had he caught the warning signs earlier. His doctor explained that many people experience gradual memory changes, but by seeking help early, it's often possible to slow the progression and improve the quality of life. Joe wished he had known the signs sooner, and his doctor encouraged him to be proactive and take action. One of the most effective ways to combat forgetfulness is to use tools to help you remember important events. While memory may naturally decline with age, it's possible to work around it. Start by using a large calendar in a prominent place, such as the kitchen, where you can see it every day. This helps keep track of important dates, from birthdays to appointments to family gatherings. Another helpful tool is setting up reminders on your phone. Many smartphones have built-in calendar apps that allow you to set up notifications for upcoming events. These simple tools can act as an additional safety net, reducing the chance of forgetting key moments. If you're someone who enjoys writing, keeping a journal is another great way to engage your memory. Write down the things you've done, the events you've attended, or even just reflections on your day. The act of writing stimulates the brain and can keep your mind sharp. It's a habit that can help keep you connected to the important moments in your life, and it's something that may also make it easier to track those events if you do begin to experience memory lapses. By integrating these small tools into your daily routine, you can make a big difference in managing your memory and reducing the stress of forgetfulness. While it's important to understand that some memory changes are natural with age, it's equally important to recognize when it's time to seek help. Taking these proactive steps can help you hold on to those special moments, stay engaged in the activities that matter most to you, and enjoy a fuller, more fulfilling life. 2. Confusion about time and place. Do you find yourself losing track of time, or perhaps you've gotten lost in a place you've visited countless times before? This confusion can be a warning sign that you're dealing with more than just a momentary lapse in attention. The Mayo Clinic suggests that this could indicate early-onset Alzheimer's disease. Confusion about time and place occurs because cognitive decline can affect the brain's ability to orient itself in space and time. Areas of the brain responsible for tracking time, recognizing familiar locations, and processing new information begin to slow down or malfunction as dementia progresses. This can lead to disorientation and the inability to recall basic details about your environment. Frank, 75, was a lifelong resident of the same small town. One afternoon, he went out to run errands and ended up in a completely different part of town. He couldn't understand how he got there or where his car was parked. He felt disoriented and lost, which scared him more than anything. It wasn't until he saw his doctor that he learned this confusion was an early sign of cognitive decline. Using a GPS can be a lifesaver if you feel confused about where you are, but more importantly, always have someone you trust who can help guide you when needed. If you're out of your usual routine, stay close to familiar places and try not to venture too far without someone by your side. 3. Struggling to find the right words. At times, we all struggle to find the words we need, whether it's in the middle of a conversation or when trying to explain something important. But when this becomes a frequent issue, it could signal something deeper than just a senior moment. As the brain ages, language skills and the ability to recall words can become impaired. This is due to changes in the brain's temporal lobes, the areas responsible for speech and language processing. Difficulty finding the right word can also be a sign of dementia, particularly in the early stages. Carol, 68, noticed that while she was having conversations with her grandchildren, she often couldn't find the words she wanted to use. She'd fumble over sentences and it made her feel frustrated. Her family thought it was just stress or fatigue. But after consulting with a doctor, Carol discovered that her symptoms were part of a larger issue with cognitive function. Try reading aloud, writing down what you want to say, or practicing speech exercises to help engage your brain. It can also be helpful to communicate more slowly and allow time for your mind to catch up. 4. Difficulty making decisions. Decision-making can become challenging as we age, and that's okay. We all have moments of uncertainty or doubt. However, if you're consistently struggling to make decisions, even about small things, this could be a sign of cognitive decline. The frontal lobe of the brain, which helps us make decisions and plan, can become less efficient as we get older. This means that it may take longer for you to process options and make informed decisions. Impulsive or poor decision-making may also indicate that the brain's judgment centers are being affected. Nancy, 80, had always been careful with her finances, but in recent months she found herself making poor financial choices. She impulsively bought a car she couldn't afford and made other uncharacteristic decisions. She became worried about her judgment and consulted with a doctor, who helped her understand that the decline in her decision-making skills was linked to early-stage memory loss. Take time before making decisions and ask for input from trusted family members or friends. Sometimes, slowing down and consulting with someone else can help you make better choices. If you feel unsure about something, write down pros and cons or use a decision-making chart to guide you. 5. Difficulty following or participating in conversations. If you've noticed that it's harder to follow conversations or stay engaged in social situations, you're not alone. Many seniors experience this challenge as they age, but it could be a sign of something more serious. As cognitive abilities decline, it can become harder for the brain to process new information and keep up with conversations. This is especially true when multiple people are speaking at once or when conversations are fast-paced. The brain may struggle to retain details and context, leading to confusion and frustration. John, 70, used to be the life of the party, but recently he found himself zoning out during family conversations. He couldn't keep track of the discussion, even though he wanted to contribute. His family thought he was just tired, but John later learned that his difficulty in following conversations was related to early-stage dementia. Engage your brain with activities that promote focus and attention. Try puzzles, reading, or even playing memory games. If you're in a conversation and find yourself struggling, don't hesitate to ask people to slow down or clarify what they're saying. 6. Changes in mood or personality. Have you noticed a shift in your mood or personality lately? This can be one of the most concerning signs of cognitive decline, and it's something that often gets overlooked. You might find yourself becoming irritable, anxious, or depressed, even when there doesn't seem to be a clear reason for it. Perhaps you used to be an easygoing person, but now you feel more on edge or easily frustrated. You might have once enjoyed socializing, but now you're withdrawing from family and friends. While occasional mood swings are a normal part of life, a sustained, unexplained change in your personality or mood can indicate a deeper issue, and it could be a sign that your brain is going through changes. As we age, our brains naturally undergo changes. Some of these changes affect the brain chemistry and structure that regulate emotions. The part of the brain responsible for managing emotions, including the limbic system and frontal lobes, can become less effective with age. This can make it harder to process and regulate feelings, leading to shifts in mood. For many, this means becoming more prone to irritability, anxiety, or depression. In some cases, it can also cause a person to withdraw socially, lose interest in previously enjoyable activities, or even experience a loss of empathy. This shift in mood or personality is particularly concerning because it often occurs gradually, and many individuals may not recognize the changes in themselves. Sometimes, family members or close friends are the first to notice the difference. It's not uncommon for someone who's been a warm, friendly person for years to suddenly seem short-tempered or distant. This can lead to misunderstandings and strain in relationships, which only compounds the emotional toll. Take Betty, for example. Betty, a 74-year-old retired nurse, had always been the life of the party. She loved hosting dinner parties, volunteering at her church, and spending time with her grandchildren. But over the course of a few months, her family started to notice a dramatic change in her behavior. Betty began isolating herself from her family and friends, no longer enjoying her usual activities. She became easily irritated, snapping at her husband and children for no clear reason. She stopped going to church and declined invitations from friends. Instead of joining in family dinners, she preferred to sit alone in her room, feeling exhausted and overwhelmed by the simplest of tasks. Her family became concerned and gently encouraged her to see a doctor. At first, Betty resisted the idea of seeking medical help, dismissing her changes in mood as just getting older. But eventually, with the support of her family, Betty agreed to visit her doctor. After a thorough evaluation, the doctor explained that Betty's personality changes were not just a natural part of aging. In fact, they were linked to early-stage dementia. Betty's brain was undergoing changes that affected her emotional regulation, leading to the irritability and withdrawal she had been experiencing. It was a wake-up call for Betty and her family, as they realized that the signs of cognitive decline had been present for some time, but they had been mistaken for typical aging. If you're noticing shifts in your mood or personality, it's essential not to dismiss them as part of growing older. While mood swings can certainly be a normal part of aging, persistent changes in how you feel, think, or behave could indicate a deeper issue. It's important to recognize these changes early, as catching them sooner can lead to more effective intervention and a better quality of life in the long run. One important step in addressing changes in mood is to seek professional help. If you're feeling down, irritable, or anxious, consider speaking with a therapist or counselor. Mental health plays a crucial role in cognitive health, and talking through your feelings can help alleviate emotional distress. Therapy can provide valuable tools for managing your emotions and offer a safe space to explore any underlying issues you may be facing. It's also an opportunity to better understand what's happening in your brain and how to manage any cognitive challenges that arise. In addition to therapy, it can be helpful to stay active socially. Even if you don't feel like socializing, making an effort to engage with others, whether it's a family member, a friend, or a support group, can help reduce isolation and keep your mind engaged. It's also important to stay mentally and physically active, as regular exercise and activities that stimulate the brain, like puzzles, reading, or learning new skills, can support overall cognitive health. Changes in mood or personality don't always point to dementia or cognitive decline, but it's crucial to take these changes seriously. Don't ignore them or chalk them up to age. Seek help, communicate with your loved ones, and stay proactive in caring for your emotional well-being. Early intervention can make a significant difference, and with the right support, you can manage these changes in a way that preserves your quality of life. I know this is a lot to take in, but stay with me until the end because the last warning sign is the most surprising and often overlooked. If you're still watching, comment number 4 below. See how many of you are with me so far. Recap key takeaways. We've covered some important and potentially concerning signs today. If you find yourself forgetting important dates, it may not just be a simple lapse in memory. It could indicate early cognitive decline, especially if it happens often. Similarly, if you're getting confused about time and place or finding it difficult to recall the right words in conversations, these may also be warning signs that shouldn't be ignored. But here's the good news: it's not too late to take control of the situation. The key is to take action. Start with just one small change tonight, like using a calendar to keep track of important events and appointments. A visual reminder can make a big difference in reducing memory-related stress and help you stay organized. By making this simple adjustment, you can gradually improve your memory over time, making it easier to manage daily tasks and stay connected with loved ones. It's all about taking one step at a time. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might benefit from hearing this message. Together, we can help each other become more aware and take action. Comment number 4 below if you're still with us. It's a great way for us to connect and share our experiences. We've discussed some critical signs today, and I hope this information helps you understand how important it is to stay aware of early warning signs. The good news is that you're not alone. Many people face similar challenges, and by catching them early, you can make small changes that lead to significant improvements in your memory and quality of life. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you or a loved one experienced any of these signs? Share your story in the comments below. Let's support one another through this journey.